Before we get into this podcast, I want to give a huge thank you to our production team over at Hyre, spelled Hyre, formerly known as Hey Lou. Yep, they rebranded. Go check out HYREUP.com. That's hireup.com to find an amazing A-plus rockstar talent VA like the ones who produce this podcast and actually serve as moving consultants at two college brothers.
What's going to happen very soon, very, very soon, is when you are competing for business, you're probably not saying, hey, guess what? We have electricity in our business. That's not a competitive advantage. It was a competitive advantage like 100 years ago. Soon, when people say, oh, I've got AI in my business, it's going to be like you're saying, I've got electricity. The next big thing that I want you to be thinking, and Wade should be thinking about this, he's probably already thinking about it, is documenting your work, right? Having that documentation. It's called a data moat. Now I just want someone to go and scan the QR code, tell me what they need washed, have the AI automatically run the report, and then an AI agent call. And an AI agent, you can make them sound like, hey, you're from Florida, and I want a female voice, age 40, calling, and it will sound, I mean, I don't know if you've interacted with some of this stuff. It's so amazing. And so when it calls, you want it to announce itself, hey, I'm the AI agent calling on behalf of two college brothers moving. We've looked at your job. We've analyzed it. We think that we can get this done for you. We can either send a salesperson out if you want to schedule that with me now, or if you're happy, I can share with you the quote and, schedule your move date, right? Or at any time, if you want to talk to a live person, let me know and I'll patch you through.
Welcome everybody back to the Grow Your Moving Company podcast. In today's episode, I've got somebody that I have been working with since their beginning in the moving industry. We have the Chief Revenue Officer of LiveSwitch on today, Mr. James Hatfield. Now, James, not only is he the Chief Revenue Officer of LiveSwitch, but he's also an entrepreneur of his own right. He owns a painting and a power washing company. But a little bit about LiveSwitch. They are a global technology company that serves the trades and other businesses outside of moving. They're an industry thought leader and expert in sales, leadership, business innovation. James is also all of those things and it lines up perfectly with the values that LiveSwitch have. We've had a relationship with LiveSwitch for a very long time, since kind of your intro into moving. We almost kind of beta tested it, if you will. And I know you guys had a whole storied history before you got into moving. But you guys work with small businesses, you work with moving companies, you also work with Fortune 500 enterprises. And for those of you who don't know LiveSwitch, it's an amazing video surveying tool, and they've got some new AI advancements that we'll talk about here today. But James, give me a little rundown on your own. How'd you get involved with LiveSwitch, work your way into the chief revenue position with the company, and then some of your own entrepreneurial ventures that you're doing? I'd love to hear in your own words what your backstory is.
Yeah, technology was never on my bingo card, never on my roadmap. I come from blue collar family, grew up in the house my dad built. I know how to work with my hands, know how to work on engines, know how to work on homes. And, the big dream for me was to be an entrepreneur and own a painting company. And that's what I did. I literally started a painting company, had multiple crews. We were doing great. And I just had a problem where when I went to the bookkeeper, accountant, and they would speak English to me, I'm like, I don't understand a word coming out of their mouth. Because I know probably a lot of folks listen and we become accidental business owners, right? We know how to do things, help our community, take care of things. But then we're like, oh, now I got to hit payroll and I got to do all this other stuff. So because of that, I decided, hey, maybe I need to go to business school while I'm running my businesses so I wouldn't be taken advantage of on the financial front. And that's what I did. Went back to school and I met a partner during that time. And he created a technology that solved the problem I had. Literally, we could take my income statement and balance sheet, run it through, and it would tell me in plain language how I was doing. I was like, I love this. And the guy's like, well, can you sell it? I was like, I don't know. I can sell a painting job, a power washing job all day long. I don't know. And so this was about 20 years ago before AI was on anybody's lips. And sure enough, we took that company from nothing to Inc. 500. We were one of the fast growing companies in the country for 3 years. And then we sold it, and now it's a multi-billion-dollar company. So that one worked out pretty good. And then we got into philanthropy, and then we bought the company that we're going to talk about today a little bit with LiveSwitch. But I do have my roots baked into blue collar background, business owner. I thought I'd do that the rest of my life.
Wow. So that's impressive. And so that was almost like that was more on like the finance side with software with those companies, just because you saw a need and you went to town like any good entrepreneur does and started problem solving it. And so you had painting and pressure washing. Are you still involved in those companies, or did you sell those
Not,
as well?
yeah, so as well, not anymore. Although I did think I was going to do that the rest of my life because I love playing with water guns. So
I love it. I love it. And I'm sure painting and power washing, it's probably a low barrier to entry, but a high barrier to success, similar to moving. Anybody with
yep.
a pickup truck can start a moving company like I did 15 years ago. But painting, I'm sure it's relatively easy to get into, but it's probably hard to stand out and to dominate that space because other people get into it relatively easily. And you have a lot of people that probably work as a painter or a power washer, just like we have people that work as movers that think they can go out and start their own thing. And you're competing against those mom and pop, one man in a van operations. Tell me a little bit about, just taking us back a little bit before we get into the LiveSwitch and the technology side, what you did to differentiate yourself early on with those businesses in a probably, I can guess, crowded space, just like moving.
Oh yeah. I mean, and not only were we competing with anybody with a truck and a paintbrush, but also as with moving, against the homeowner themselves. Because once they find out how much it's going to cost, they decide, hey, I'm going to get 2 pizza boxes and all my friends, and we're going to figure this thing out. Needless to say, we know how that story goes with a move or with painting. Sometimes we get called in after disaster, especially on the painting side. When someone's like, oh, yeah, I thought we could do this, or they just stopped halfway through, right? So, and that's fine. It's just come to be expected. The way that we would stand out is just by really working in a neighborhood. I would go and find a neighborhood or a commercial area that I wanted to work and I knew was my kind of target market. And I would try to land that first job. And you and I, we do what we need to do, right? We hit the streets when we need to. We knock on doors when we need to. When I didn't have enough jobs for the next week for my guys, I hit the weekend and I was booking work, going door to door, right? So a little bit of that hustle and grind, I think, stood apart. And the fact that when I landed a neighbor, we did a great work. I could always point to, unlike a move, I could point to the house down the street that was once looking like a dog and now she's shining like a diamond. So, and then offer a referral and reference. And that's how I would just really work my business. And then I loved doing power washing because it was recurring revenue. If I got a commercial office or I have a home, I could go and power wash that every year, every 2 years. So I love recurring revenue. And really, I found power washing to be more of my prize pony, even than my painting company.
I want to give a huge thank you to the team that produces this podcast, and that's the team over at Hire. Now, who's Hire? You probably know them as Hey Lou. Well, Hey Lou has recently rebranded to Hire, Hyre, and their new website is hireup.com, HYREUP.com, and they've been fantastic to work with. It's the same owners, the same management. They're still doing an amazing job in sourcing amazing VAs. We use them from everything from administrative work to KPIs. They can help with emails. They're basically your assistant, your virtual assistant, and they live all over the world. They come from South America, Central America, Asia, anywhere where there's remote people willing to work, and the cost of living over there is a lot less. So you can save a lot of money as a business owner getting them and working with them to do tasks you used to have to pay in-office employees, and we all know how much of a hassle that can be. So if you're looking to get a VA like we use them for, we actually use them for sales. We have moving consultants that are VAs. They're perfect English-speaking people, extremely intelligent and hardworking. You won't regret working with Hire to find your next rock star A+ talent. So go check out HYREUP.com and tell them I sent you. Yeah, it blows my mind when I see these multi-million-dollar houses and they've got, dirt on their roofs or, on their driveways. I mean, it just totally takes away that value of that home. And it's crazy to me how they don't keep up with the pressure washing. But I suppose that's a topic for another episode.
Oh, I could go down that pathway all the time, I mean, but people wash their car every weekend, but they'll wash their house never. I'm like, okay,
right.
That makes no sense to me. But that made it really easy to sell, honestly, because people could equate that. And I'm like, you don't want to protect your couple $100,000 home. I can have this done in a few hours. But anyway, I literally could preach a whole sermon on, power washing. and I won't.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. And I'm sure a lot of those strategies that you did back 20 years ago before, the internet was even that big. Obviously, we still had it, but it was in its early infancy. We had MySpace. We didn't really have all the social media platforms, no TikTok back then, no AI. Google was still very primitive in its algorithms. And I think, it's a lot of it's coming full circle with, a lot of the practices that used to, be the only way to get business, hustling, door knocking, building relationships, social proof from your neighbors and referral business, repeat business. All that stuff is sometimes forgotten about in today's day and age when everybody's so overwhelmed with trying to build a better website, trying to figure out what to do with AI, trying to dominate social media, go viral. And I think it's an important piece to every business's marketing strategy. You still have to have the website, and you still have to be able to use AI better than your competition. But it's a forgotten practice in a lot of spaces. And I think just simply a company that goes out today that has a basic presence online, if they employ those practices and they use the timeless psychology of what pulls the trigger for customers, getting that face-to-face interaction, they'll stand to have an advantage. And that's part of why I love LiveSwitch too, because you give people the option of still getting that face-to-face where you can sell them and still seeing the stuff that you can go out and see on your own, but it saves both of you time. And a lot of customers have really come to embrace the technology side, but they still crave that like human interaction. What are you seeing the best practices that people are using video, live video streaming with their clients, especially in the moving industry? What are some of the best practices that you're seeing on how to deploy that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it kind of comes back to when we first met you, and I'll answer the question on best practices here in a second. But, we were actively reinventing the 911 phone call for the chief of police in Washington, D.C. when we met you. And we only met you by happenstance. Like, actually, the reason we met you is I have a close friend. I was showing him all our emergency response stuff, and he was like, hey, why don't you come and disrupt the self-storage industry? Like, his family's in the Hall of Fame of self-storage. I'm like, I don't know anything about self-storage. He's like, you'll figure it out. You're the nerd with the glasses. Come on over here. So as I'm doing that, we like outbounding, cold outbounding. That's how we met you. We cold outbounded you. And we only called you because it said storage, right? When people were saying moving and storage, we were ignorant. We thought it was storage like self-storage. No, it's totally different. Well, obviously we know now 3 years later, but when we first met you, you're like, guys, you're sitting on a pot of gold. We'll use this in moving. Like, we'll use this for remote estimates, and we're coming off of COVID not too long ago. And here we are. And to your point, and you said it, I mean, when you said this, like, one of my guys came to me and was like, James, this incredible guy, Wade, like, totally sees us in virtual estimating, right? It's speed to lead. We affectionately call it race to the face because we know the face has an even higher close rate than the phone alone. Right. And it can be just as dominating as on property. We have moving companies that track every data to the nth degree, and they'll even say, James, on site, we're closing at this percentage. Virtually, we're closing just a tick higher, not much higher, but a tick higher because of that convenience, speed, smaller jobs, people kicking tires. They always say free estimate. I'm like, well, it's not a free estimate for me, the business owner. It's the most expensive thing I do. I put an hourly wage guy in one of my trucks, burning up my gas, going across the town, and I'm not even guaranteed the win. So it's not free for me. And so getting rid of those tire kickers, those people are like, they find the price out and like, well, I'm just going to get 2 pizzas and all my friends, right? Well, I didn't have to drive out for that. Second, small jobs are the people that already knew who I was. Where's a referral? Maybe their company's giving them money, right? So I can close that with my eyes closed. I just had to beat the rest of my competition to the door. So there's your virtual estimating. And then finally deciding, wow, that's a bigger job. I'm definitely going on site for that one. But it affirmed they were worth driving out for. So I think a lot of things that we're seeing is speed to lead. When somebody's Googling movers near me and they come on your website, that's the hottest, best time for you to kick your sales team into action, because they don't think about you every day until they need you for that time. And that's right when you have to make that first impression. And a face, boy, that can make all the difference. When someone sees a business owner like Wade on a call, they see a credible guy, lots of good reviews online, and now he's already convenient and showing, and they didn't have to, make an extra date to wait for Wade to come along to their house to see it. And now we haven't even talked about all the AI behind it as well. But these are the kind of things that can really move the needle for your moving company, especially if you're in a highly competitive market.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, COVID, I feel like opened up a lot of our eyes to how important that face to face presence is because there was a period there where not many people could go do an on site estimate. You had to do everything over the phone. And if a customer didn't have the same type of phone, you couldn't do a FaceTime or anything like that. You might try to schedule a Zoom or something with them. And I know Zoom blew up during COVID too, but you guys came along right at the perfect time for the moving industry because I think you totally revolutionized how movers all over the country are doing their estimates. And they realize, holy cow, like this is actually better than doing on sites in a lot of cases because we're saving so much time driving back and forth 30 minutes each way. A salesperson, like we tell our salespeople, you really can only do about 4 on site estimates a day because you got an hour back and forth and then you've got an hour with the customer. That's 2 hours. If you're working an 8-hour day, that's gonna eat up your whole day. Whereas with a virtual, I mean, you could be running them back to back to back. I mean, you could do 10, 20 virtuals in a day. And our statistics, I mean, we look at it every month on the booking percent by survey type in Smart Moving, and virtuals and on-sites are both neck and neck. Sometimes virtual beats out on-site, sometimes on-site beats out virtual, but they're both up there. And, compared to over the phone, I mean, we're seeing 20, 30% higher booking percentages when we can get a face in front of the customer one way or another. And, there's something to be said about that in-person experience. If it's a real high-end customer, you can give them information, hand it to them, you can shake their hand. But the next best thing is looking somebody right in the eye. And I think it opens up a lot of moves that you wouldn't be able to otherwise market to. Like today, for example, we're coming back from New Jersey where we did a pickup up in New Jersey and we're bringing it down to Florida. And it was a full size, 26-foot truck. That would have been very hard to quote that over the phone. But using LiveSwitch, we can get eyes on what we're looking at. We can make sure that it's all going to fit in that truck. And we know, how to price that job out. We just did one the other day coming from Oklahoma City. Same thing. Like I think that was on Sunday. We loaded that up. So it's really allowed us to market to pretty much all over the country for anybody coming into Tampa, which has affected our SEO campaign, where we have a lot of blogs that are basically talking about the area for people that are researching the area. It allows us to refer out realtors more because, somebody, if we're moving this New Jersey person into Tampa, they might be renting for a period of time looking for something to buy. And it's not often that you can get in front of a realtor to refer them on a local level. Whereas if you're bringing somebody in from out of town, they probably don't know who the right realtors are in town. And if you do a good job and they trust you, then, they're going to take your word for it and you can give that value back. So I love that. And, you hear a lot about what's going on with the politics in New York City. I think we're going to see a mass exodus of businesses in New York City. We're going to launch marketing campaigns because we know that we can survey those jobs up there and it doesn't cost us any more to go up and get it and bring it down as it does to bring it up and come back down either way. So, but as long as we can be prepared when we head up that way. What are some of the other best practices, aside from like face to race, or I like that term.
Race to the face. That's what it is. But race to the face, whether you're on property or virtual. I mean, this trend is only continuing. Today, even today, I met with the third largest mover in Mayflower, and they do tons of moves. And he shared with me when they first got started after COVID, they were doing 28% virtuals. Now they're up to 45%, and their goal is 90% virtual estimations.
Wow.
A lot of it is for the speed, for the convenience, but now with it, we're wrapping everything in AI. You can do an estimate and have the customer walk around saying, this is going, that's not going, this is going, that's not going. And the AI can listen to all of what's going on, through the voice. It can see all the photos and the videos, and then it can make your entire inventory in Cube Sheet where it's got everything that's going, even has a column that says what's going, what's not going, has the weight of everything, and then recommended packing materials to apply, all from a virtual estimate. And what's nice about this is the transfer of communication. So if you initially do that initial walk around, and yes, maybe it is a larger job, you're still going to go on property, you're way more prepared, right? You're actually just going there to affirm everything that the first pre-estimate did. As well as just documenting things for pre-existing damage. And now the AI is going to a level, it's here today. We do this today, where you can even run reports on your team and say, hey, help my salesperson improve, right? And oh, by the way, can you document everything and change it into Spanish, right? You can run multiple reports on everything. Oh, and by the way, can you document that process for my business? Because no longer is your team going to want to, and nobody wants to, tap in all the information into your CRM. We hate that. And we can't remember everything. So why not just have the conversation, whether it's virtually or on property, and then have the AI convert that to all the notes you need and tune it up for how your business likes it. You can make these prompts to where it produces exactly what you like to see as a business owner or as a company. And now you're saving your team, add up all the time it takes to just transfer information from your head into that CRM. And even when you forget things, it's a liability. So this is the kind of stuff that is here now that can wrap your team with a co-pilot, just enhance the quality and workmanship of your team already. So we're seeing the big trend right now being in AI reporting on the front end, but also operationally. So when you get on property, maybe you've won the job and you're on property. Now we have folks bringing their phones out and videoing their initial walk around, especially documenting damage and running the AI report on it. And also asking the AI report, see if I missed any damage. Right. So it's another set of eyes. This is the kind of stuff that
and they're using LiveSwitch. So movers, I was going to ask, like, what other use cases besides surveying are you seeing people use it for? And you're seeing movers with the app basically surveying furniture, and it'll actually document damage and pinpoint that right away.
Absolutely. Or as you're speaking to it, right? So it's you're a co-pilot, right? It's document. It's like your partner in crime, so to speak, as you're walking around. These are the kind of things it can do. But in addition, maybe you're getting ready to wrap a certain type of art, or you're getting ready to move a safe. Now you can take a video while the person's doing it and then have the AI, hey, document that process and document that procedure. Oh, wow. Because when you're ready to exit your company, if you have everything video recorded, you've got all your training, every work that you've done, all of your systems and SOPs documented, you're raising the value of your moving company as you start to make yourself redundant. You can start marking things as training. Like even in our day-to-day lives, when I've got an issue around the house and I want to figure something out, I go to YouTube. I don't read anymore. And reading isn't enough. Really. If I can't see it and hear it and start to visualize it, it makes it easier when you're bringing in those new folks as you're trying to scale your business or replace people that might have left. So these are the kind of things that it's getting used all from end to end on your process, and even in the marketing and the leave behinds, all kinds of stuff, all wrapped in AI.
Wow. And we talk about a lot of those same things with our Tighten Up training program, because we have the ability now to host company-specific systems and processes. And I know there's tools for, desktop employees, people that work on a computer like Loom and Scribe. But this is something that I feel like is really practical out in the field, where it's doing a lot of those things that Loom and Scribe do, which also are starting to leverage a lot of AI. But you can actually document a lot of things out in the field, or like where you don't necessarily have a ability to move a computer around with like the camcorder method, as Dan Martell says in his book that I have somewhere back on that shelf, Buy Back Your Time. It's one of the most efficient ways to create an SOP for something. Even complex tasks is just watch how I do it and then go back and rewatch it, or slow motion, or have AI write down the step-by-steps like Scribe can do. That's really cool. I didn't realize that, this was being applied as much out in the field. And so I'm assuming like movers or any team members that are out in the field that wanted to use that, they just download the LiveSwitch app and they do it straight through there.
There's no app at all. You literally just have a link that you tap, or you can put something on your home screen that you tap. It launches LiveSwitch. Oh, wow. Everything lives in the browser. They hit record now. You can even mark your GPS location, so where you're at. And even when they show up to the job site, if it's already won, we have a button now. You just hit current location. It'll bring up everything from the job site. So GPS is now included. And so when you're walking around, now what happened is, like with AI and with translations, everything was audio. Well, we're now one of the first platforms on the planet that can take video with those photos and the audio and now wrap it all. And it'll even look through all the photos and the videos. Like right now, Wade, I could send you a text. I'm sitting here in North Carolina, down in Florida, right? And you could do a 360 video live with me of your studio, and I have a prompt that reviews your entire studio with all of your equipment, documenting all your equipment and telling you how you can improve. This thing fixed my HVAC system 2 weeks ago. Literally from a 30-second video, it said, I've got water in the water pan, there's condensation and it's leaking. And it was like, oh, most likely cause is you have algae in your drain line. Just open your drain line and clear the algae. It was right. And it gave me the 6 steps on how to do it. So yeah, it's bonkers. Like our mold remediators, I use it for mold remediation. Obviously movers for documentation and doing the move virtually. But I've got electricians, plumbers, holiday light hangers. And these prompts are now, you can make as many prompts as you want and do whatever you want. It's kind of the handyman's dream right now for me. Now that I can take video and combine that with AI. It's where we are now, and it's even getting cooler and cooler. And we can talk about what's to come in the future. But what we have today continues to blow my mind every time I see it. Now that we have it, we've been working on it for quite a while. You just wait. The reason you know about it because we just literally launched it in the last month. But we've been working hard on this for a while. We just haven't been able to talk about it until now.
Very cool. So is it the same link every time that you could like save to your notes? If you're just, say you're out in the field, you can't like generate a new link, or does it generate a new link? Custom link each time?
No, you can have the same link. You can even turn into a QR code. So if you want your team to scan a QR code and, hey, every time we do a walk around, guys, or every time you want to do a customer testimonial, you can use this in recruiting and have it analyze the recruit. Like, should we hire? This is what we're looking for. Your imagination is the limitation. Now that video hits AI, it's game changing.
When you mentioned the mold thing, or when you were going through like your drain step by step, were you like taking that through LiveSwitch and then you upload that onto somewhere to analyze it, or is it doing that?
We were doing the live video. So I had a restoration guy in my home, but he could do it virtually. And I had some surface mold, and you just say, hey, I have surface mold. Here's what I want to do to it to remediate it. Well, then he ran it through a mold remediation plan. It gave the timeline. It gave the safety equipment it needed to wear. It gave the budget. It gave after remediation, the equipment that's needed to install, all from this report. Whether you're an electrician, I was doing one yesterday with a guy in an airport, and it put together the whole plan for installing the USB plugs under the chairs at the airport. I mean, it's crazy.
Cool.
It's really live, but you're doing everything live or recorded. You can take videos you had from 2 years ago and just put it in the cloud, and then you just run the prompt on it, and then the prompt will look through the entire record and then give you whatever you've asked for, whether it's a sales report, inventory report, your document my procedures, fix my HVAC unit, give me a mold report, tell me how my podcast studio is looking and how to improve. I mean, after we hang up here, I'll do the one with you, and we'll analyze your podcast studio. It'll blow your mind. Yeah,
I mean, if you want to do it right now, we can. It's a little messy in here, but we certainly could do that. And so it basically, like, I'm learning a lot about like custom GPTs, because I'm trying to figure out ways that we can lean into AI where we have like, maybe it's twocollegebrothers.ai, and we, for the customers that want to, utilize all the AI stuff that we can do, training it on our company brand voice, our SOPs, our scripts, our pricing, to eventually make it so that we can book things directly by talking to like a chat GPT, or directly through a plugin that we put onto our website where we have like a chat GPT sales person, if you will, sales agent, that knows everything that a salesperson knows and probably more, and then they don't have bad days. So where people that prefer not to talk on the phone or meet with somebody, they can just do that, or potentially use your service to scan things around and get a custom quote right then and there, and training it on all the things. So I love hearing about these different use cases that people are finding. It kind of sounds like maybe that HVAC repair or whatever the service that the restoration company that you were working with almost had like their own GPT like programmed on the step by step. They just needed the video feed to see what was going on, and then it could interpret all that. I want to take a second and tell you all about Tighten Up Training. As a co-founder, we've spent months and months and months and a lot of money pooling together resources from some of the best moving companies in the world. And we're excited to bring this to an online platform available to any mover to use at an affordable price. Tighten Up Training has over 200 videos including mover training, your highest turnover position, so that you can reduce claims, streamline operations, give your team the tools to perform at the highest level of service that generate repeat and referral business and allow you to charge higher prices, as well as sales training, marketing training, business development, leadership. We're adding more content as we speak. We've got legal training in there. We've even got door-to-door training for the moving industry, thanks to Lenny Gray at the Moving Titan Retreat. We've seen a massive explosion of moving companies jumping on to Tighten Up training since the last retreat, and people are loving it. And when you sign up and mention this podcast, we're going to give you a free 6-week onboarding course in order to learn how to hold your team accountable and get the entire team on the platform so that you can have the best off-season and summer season that you've ever had. Ideally, the best 2025 that you've ever had. So go to tightenuptraining.com, schedule your free demo today, and look forward to tightening up.
Yeah, I mean, it's as far as how it is to make this, we've made it really simple, right? So you're going to go in and literally just write mold remediation, give me a report on how to fix this and how long it's going to take and how much it costs. That's the prompt. Now you can get fancier with it and go to ChatGPT or your favorite flavor like Gemini or Grok and have it produce even more extensive prompt. Like I have an electrician that even plugs in where he shops, what Home Depot, and then it puts out every link that he needs for all his supplies, and it's in Canadian, right? So wow. Like you just create the prompt, and once the prompt's done, if you have staff, the staff doesn't have to think. The staff just sends the text, they do the live video, and then they go in and we have it one button. If you want it to do the inventory report, click that one button. Your staff doesn't have to go in there and think about all the prompts and what they have to say. You know, this is one click to start the conversation with the customer and one click to analyze it. And that's what we found to be kind of even more of our secret sauce is if you can make this simple where you can learn in 5 minutes or less, then it will get used. Stuff that's just like, oh man, I got to go back to university. I've got to spend weeks learning this stuff. A lot of our team members tend to check out. They tend to be like, oh, that's probably not going to be for me. Now, for the advanced high-tech folks in our listening, we love that stuff. We go deep. We're going like, Wade's talking about GPTs and he's going really deep. But for the rest of us, we just are like, hey, man, can you just save me like 30 minutes so I don't have to punch this into my CRM? It's that kind of stuff where it's practical and tactical, where it will get used a ton. And that's what we're seeing on our side is when you make this stuff so one click easy, everyone just uses it.
That's really cool. Is there anybody currently using, or is there the capability to create like a button on your website where it says, do your video survey now and get an immediate quote? Do you see anybody doing anything like that where they basically go to twocollegebrothers.com, they see this button that says, what I just said, like do a video survey now and get an instant quote. They click it, they get the link, and then they go through and do it. And then, either a salesperson, they might have to fill out, a couple pieces of contact information to get to that. But maybe a salesperson calls them after they've reviewed it to go over the quote, or is there anybody that's figured out a way to basically get that immediate AI completely generated quote? And maybe it's not even in moving, if maybe it's another home service, but I'm curious about specifically moving, if you know of anybody.
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly what we have today, what you can do right now. All right. We have where you can put a link on your website and the customer can tap it and take a video of what they need moved. Immediately your sales team gets pinged saying you've got something. You can hit one button and run it through the inventory report and then call them, right? That's what we have today. So it's the click, self-record, the do-it-yourself. Your sales team now runs the AI report and calls them and tries to close the deal, right? Or decides we're driving out. What we're building is going to help to automate that. Our goal is to have a completely touchless experience, right? So like when I ran my power washing company, I would have my leave behind. Now I just want someone to go and scan the QR code, tell me what they need washed, have the AI automatically run the report, and then an AI agent call. And an AI agent, you can make them sound like, hey, you're from Florida, and I want a female voice, age 40, calling, and it will sound, I don't know if you've interacted with some of this stuff. It's so amazing. And so when it calls, you want it to announce itself, hey, I'm the AI agent calling on behalf of Two College Brothers Moving. We've looked at your job. We've analyzed it. We think that we can get this done for you. We can either send a salesperson out if you want to schedule that with me now, or if you're happy, I can share with you the quote and, schedule your move date, right? Or at any time, if you want to talk to a live person, let me know and I'll patch you through. And we're getting to the Amazon Prime experience that customers expect, not only from when they buy whatever they want online, but now through our home service companies, they want that convenience that wrapped in everything we're talking about. But today, it will. You can click the button, do the video. You can run your report by clicking a button after it pings your salesperson, and your actual salesperson calls. But in the future, and not too far away, we can get it to an entire touchless experience with these AI agents.
Wow. And is there a way now where it will generate like the price based on that inventory that it captures, to where a customer could, and I'm not saying this is necessarily the best business practice, because I still think that having a real salesperson is probably the going to lead to the highest book jobs, deliver the price and go through the whole sales pitch. But for a customer that just doesn't want to have to even talk to an AI agent or a real person on the phone, they want to book their entire thing online, like ordering a pizza. Can you train it on your pricing, your scripts? I know you guys connect to Smart Moving. You've got some API stuff going on with that. Is there a way that they could theoretically click that button on their site, enter their info, get the link, do their survey, and then all of a sudden they get their price, and then they could just click book or sign estimate? Yep. Is that possible?
That is possible. It's not here today. What is here today is you can train that prompt with your pricing, your hourly rates, how you do it, your tariffs, if you have to do that as well. And then it can give you that estimate for your team. You're still going to need your team, to Wade's point, to review all that, to look through it and finalize everything. But to your point as well, Wade, a completely touchless experience, I believe that's not too far away. I mean, there's not too much more training that we need to do to everything, and then how we serve up that information back, and working through systems like a Smart Moving to automate all of this. That is not too far away, but that is not here today yet.
Yeah. I think, one of the things that I've started to see more and more, I know some pretty large companies that are doing this now. It's just completely booking online. And I don't even think they're leveraging AI video or picture taking tools like what you have. I think it's still manually plug and play, your inventory to book online. I think it's interesting. We were always taught from the Louis Massaro conferences 10 years ago that, you could have theoretically booked online back then. But he would say, it's not like ordering a pizza. You got to get a real person on the phone. That was before even voice agents. With things changing the way they are and people getting more and more comfortable with interacting with AI, people treat ChatGPT like it's their diary. And sometimes, my girlfriend's ChatGPT probably knows more about me than I do. But I'm thinking like, it's probably going to get more commonplace, more mainstream for people to not really want to talk to a real person, and to have that option at least to book their entire thing online. And I think the biggest struggle with it is the salesmanship behind it, which we're already starting to overcome with AI, but B, the accuracy of it, because we didn't have tools like this that existed before to get an accurate inventory and to actually see what, how to be best prepared for it. And I think that scared a lot of people away from the book online stuff, because customer can tell you what they want to tell you. They may do it on purpose and omit things, or they may just not really know exactly what to look for and enter that information. But I'd love to see at least having that option to where, that capability comes into play. And I think you'll capture a lot of, especially the Gen Z millennial population that really is getting very used to doing everything directly with their phone on their fingertips without having to actually speak with people.
And now that you have it on video, it's much different than having someone fill out their own inventory on their own behalf, right? Because the video keeps everybody honest. Like, hey, we can watch our instant replay, like to reduce, someone trying to dupe you or like do you wrong as a company. But to your point, Wade, like meeting the customer where they're at and how they like to do business. Some folks want a completely touchless experience. We need to be able to provide that. Some folks would happy to do it virtually. They see a face. They're happy to book it virtually. And then you got the third ones where they're going to need a handshake, or your company just feels like we need to drive out because this one's a little bit larger. And we as a company want the handshake, right? So you just pick the path. We want to make things frictionless, and we want to do business with how our customers want to do business. And we can adapt to that quite easily using technology, and then making sure we have the right team members that can handle that. And isn't that what we all want? We want to be catered to. The customers now have no patience. They're spending 4 or 5 figures with you, maybe 6 in some cases, but probably not unless they're commercial, but 4 or 5 figures. they're going to want more of that white glove experience. And that might be different than the shaking your hand. That person's definition of a white glove experience mean, I don't want to talk to any of you guys. I just want to write the check. And that's it. I don't even want to write the check. I just want to PayPal you, Venmo you, right? I want it all digital, right? So we gotta understand what white glove means to each person, and just give them that pathway to cash, right? And the winners are going to be the ones that are the easiest to do business with, and how the customer likes to do business. So you just have to be a little more adaptable. This stuff, don't let it overwhelm you, because it's really not as complicated as you might be thinking it is.
Most of you have heard me talk about Moversville and the power of their email marketing service that has helped us increase leads by over 112% over the last year. But have you heard of Moversville Connect? Moversville Connect is an incredible resource for all things moving. They feature an array of vendors and services and lists like insurance providers, softwares, equipment suppliers, marketing sources, and much, much more. The best part? This resource is free. Go check out Moversville Connect today by going to moversville.com and clicking Connect. That's moversville.com and click Connect and discover the world of Moversville beyond email. Yeah, in fact, it's super simple, because literally they just get a link texted to them. Everybody's texting, everybody's using their cell phones, everybody has a cell phone, and they click the link and they just follow the prompts and just go through it all. I think that's really cool. Do you see, so we've got AI voice agents now. Obviously, we've got AI chatting bots through messaging, but you're also starting to see a lot of deep fakes with, realistic video of like a real person doing something or saying something, or an AI generated person that's making things. There's a program for training called Synthesia that does a really good job of putting a real looking person in an AI video demonstrating certain tasks or talking to a camera. Do you see there being that kind of capability with the virtual estimates, to where a customer, might be looking at an AI generated human looking person that's like walking them through and asking them questions, just like a voice agent can do, but the visuals of it?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's not too far away. Right. And again, I think, if someone's thinking about the bad characters, the bad apples, right? The other beauty of the age of transparency we live in, you can't dupe people for too long, right? Mm-hmm. Information travels so fast now. So again, don't let this stuff scare you. Let that be the thing that takes out your competition because they're doing it the wrong way, right? Or, hey, a couple customers are going to get duped by some bad apples. That happens. That's been happening since the dawn of man, right? If it wasn't email phishing scams, now it's going to be AI deep fakes, right? So that stuff is always going to be around. And I try not to live in that land. I try to live in the land of like what really will be convenient, what customers will really like, and what really is going to move my home services business forward. That's going to help my top line and my bottom line, and give my employee experience better and give my customer experience better, while I'm transparently seeing everything that's done. We've seen this already taking place in the automotive industry, right? Where now when you take your truck to go get the oil changed, they don't wheel it behind the magic curtain like they used to do at Jiffy Lube. But now they're having these modern folks will take video of everything they're doing to your truck. Like, hey, I just, changed the filter, I just changed the oil. That level of transparency, they send you a link, and then maybe even they deliver your car back to your house. That type of experience and that type of transparency is what the customers are expecting. So if that can be done through an AI, through an AI assistant, whether it can be done through your team, whether it can be done through your technology, at the end of the day, those customers are going to be the voters with their wallets, and then they're also going to tell or not their community or their colleagues or whomever what kind of experience they had, and they'll do it right there online for all to see, right? So that's why good news travels fast, and so does the bad news. So you just keep doing the right thing, because these algorithms, Google, Gemini, ChatGPT, Grok, you'll start winning business from them, because now your customers are going to start using them, and they're crawling all over your websites. These things are crawling all over every review. And now when you're putting real photos, real videos, real interactions, you're getting ranked even higher. And the reason is because these, like the Googles and the GPTs, they're trying to surface good information, because if they do, they know that person's going to keep coming back over and over again and trusting that, right? So if it's throwing out crappy businesses that don't do good work, then we're no longer going to trust the Googles and Chat GPTs. We're going to find the next thing that does give us the good information. So that's also working in your favor if you do good business, right? So it's actually, it only helps to raise things up even faster in my mind. So I'm excited about where things are headed. And I think the businesses that embrace it faster will come to see that what's going to happen very soon, very, very soon, is when you are competing for business, you're probably not saying, hey, guess what? We have electricity in our business. That's not a competitive. It was a competitive advantage like 100 years ago. Soon, when people say, "Oh, I've got AI in my business," it's going to be like you're saying, "I've got electricity." The next big thing that I want you to be thinking, and Wade should be thinking about this. He's probably already thinking about it. Is documenting your work, right? Having that documentation. It's called a data moat. All of that data you're going to have, it trains these models. So the more you can start recording everything, whether it's voice, video, live video, when you're on site, you are creating that moat for your business where the AI is learning your business, just like Wade's girlfriend now knows him better than himself, probably. Now, these AIs can know your business just as well, and it transfers knowledge so well. The jobs, when new people start, again, the faster you embrace this as a business owner, your future self will thank you. 100% will thank you for doing it if you start now.
So where do you put that you said data moat or moat? MOTE?
A moat, like a data moat. So think about a big database.
A castle?
Yeah, like a castle. Exactly.
Okay.
A moat around your business.
Yeah. So I mean, I love the idea of, documenting everything. I've even thought about putting a live stream in our office that customers could tap into from our website and show that we actually have an office with real people working in it. And it's not somebody in India, or it's not, not some scam or something like that, like literally showcasing, our work. It'd almost be like the world's most boring reality TV show. But I've thought about it just out of like the sense of transparency to show customers that, they could tune in anytime, and it holds employees accountable. They can tune in anytime and see, us working. So we should be doing what we're supposed to be doing, and it builds trust with them because they can see us in real time.
Yeah, we're putting the cameras now in the in our trucks, for driving to protect us. Again, the employees that do good work love this stuff because it protects them. Like if there's an accident in the truck, right? Well, there's the cameras that said whose fault was it, right? When they get on property and a customer tries to blame them for damage that was already there. Hey, check it here. It's going to protect your team, right? The team members that don't like this are probably the team members you probably don't even want working for you, to be honest with you, because they got stuff to hide. When you have a business that has nothing to hide, you are protected because now you have all this data, and the data is video, audio, your CRM. That is your data. That's the moat around your castle that we're talking about. And when you don't have the moat, the dragons are coming in and they're going to burn your house down.
That's absolutely right. I mean, we dodged a huge potential. Somebody alleged a hit and run in one of our trucks a couple of years ago, and we had the dual facing dash cams. They said that we had swerved into another lane and cut them off, and it caused them to slam on the brakes and get rear-ended. But when we checked the dash cam footage, we saw that that vehicle did not change lanes at all, let alone swerving into another lane. They slowed down for a construction zone, and somebody behind them was speeding and slammed on the brakes and got rear-ended. And so, it saved us, because without that, it would have been he said, she said, we probably would have had to come up with a big settlement. Our insurance probably would have had to come up with a big settlement in that situation. But the dual facing dash cams was our moat. It protected us. And I'm trying to explore ways that we can get more video out in the field, whether it's back of truck, of the box being loaded to make sure that we could tune in, make sure that things are getting loaded and protected properly, all the way down to like what police officers are starting to use commonly now with the body cams, hats with a clip on, or a clip on your shirt. And I would love to see something practical, some kind of a wearable video, or maybe like the meta glasses or whatever, some kind of wearable video that we could theoretically live stream, or at the very least just record. So if there was a claim, customer says we scratched the floors. Nope. Sorry, ma'am. Like, your floors were already scratched from living in your house for 24 years. You just had a rug covering it up. That's the kind of thing that I'd love to be able to implement across our team to really protect us. but also, protect the customer. It really protects everybody because it's what really happened versus the he said, she said stuff. Do you have any recommendations or any kind of hardware, I guess, that could be applied, whether it's currently with LiveSwitch or maybe a future update with LiveSwitch to potentially get something like those body cams or those rear, back of box truck type shots or streams?
Yeah, it's funny. When we were reinventing the 911 phone call for the chief of police in DC, we showed him our solution. He looked over his glasses. He's like, James, this is so obvious. Why didn't we have this before? I was like, Chief, the reason we didn't have this system is because we all didn't have smartphones in our pocket with 4 or 5 cameras. And now we do. And we're just kind of waking up to the fact that we have that. And so we're putting that infrastructure in place. When we start talking about buying additional hardware, really what companies are doing is what you're doing, right? You put the dash cam in. That's easy to install, easy to have. It's recording. It already saved your butt one time and you'll never be without them, right? The next thing is every one of your staff members is carrying a smartphone in their pocket. So let's start there. Before we start going and buying all these other cameras and all these other things that a lot of times tech sounds good and we just never do it. We're just like, I'm not going to spend the money. I'm not going to do all that. And then hardware tends to go out of favor really fast. So you got to watch what hardware you invest in. So if you already have the hardware, which you do, it's in your pocket, you just need to tell your teams to start. We crawl, we walk, we run. Running is what Wade's talking about. We got police cameras on. We got this, that, and the other. We're putting up cameras when we land on the property. That's running. Today, for average individual listening in today, let's start with just having your guys doing a pre-walk around, doing those virtual estimates, because you can go back and you say, hey, ma'am, before we even set foot on property, we did a virtual estimate with you, and we have the video of the scratched up floors before we even came on property, right? Because you are already using the camera that was in Miss Jones's phone and the computer that's sitting on your team's desk right now. And we always want to start there first. Let's start with the hardware and software that we already have, and let's make the use of that tool first. And once you do that, then we can start getting fancier, like Wade's talking about. What will come next? I don't know how fast it's going to be. It's already starting, and Wade mentioned it, the meta glasses and wearables, where you do have the video cameras and it's lightweight enough to work with your hands, because it's not practical to always just walk around with your phone, which is what we need to do right now. But very soon, it'll be in the wearables. We'll have that live video stream, and then we can apply all the AI, all the documentation to that. I think that's the practical solution that will come. I don't think that's going to happen for another 2 years to really where everybody, 3 years, because eventually these phones will go away. You'll do everything through your smart glasses. But again, just as long as it took when Steve Jobs held the smartphone and that was a long time ago, that's kind of where we are with the glasses. It's just going to take a while. So until then, don't wait, because you want the moat around your castle. Start using the technology you got right this second, and you can start doing this today. This is not something that you need to go out and even buy anything new. Well, maybe you might want a LiveSwitch license, but I'm not here to, be an infomercial. Use whatever you have, and I'll try to be indifferent, But I'm just here to advocate for use the tools you already got in your pocket. Like, let's do it today. Start recording right now.
Hey movers, it's Wade Sweikel, and you're listening to the Grow Your Moving Company podcast. If you've ever wasted money on marketing to the wrong homes, listen up. This is why I use USA Home Listings. They're the only platform in the moving industry built by movers that not only has new home listings and under contract listings updated daily, but now offers enhanced data that can eliminate vacant homes and give you phone numbers and emails for both homeowners and realtors, giving you multiple ways to connect and close more jobs. Their vacancy AI tool removes empty homes so there are no more wasted mailing efforts, and their Tier 2 data takes it further, providing highly accurate contact details for both homeowners and realtors for email, phone, and social outreach. The result? Higher conversions, stronger ROI, and more book jobs with less spend. So if you want to scale your moving data, check out usahomelistings.com, because it's where real movers get real leads. Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. And I guess I had started to ask this other question before I got sidetracked. My ADD got the best of me. But you had mentioned capturing all of the work that we do. Say we're doing it. We got our phone. Maybe we got somebody who's showing off his meta glasses. We've got whatever else there is. What do we do with that video? Because a lot of it just lives in the cloud somewhere. How do we train the AI algorithms to detect that stuff? Are we putting it on YouTube? Are we putting it in our GMB profiles? Is there something we could do to upload it directly to the AI banks? Because I know if you've got like a business chat GPT account like we do, we can train it internally, but it's not necessarily getting trained publicly. Whereas like a free version of ChatGPT or whatever else is on the internet with common SEO practices, then it's, training on those things. But I'm curious, if we've got all this real boring video of all of our work, so to speak, the world's most boring reality TV show, that's our moat. And not to say that it's not still valuable. I just don't know if people want to sit and watch it all day. But where do you put all of those recordings of our work to get the most out of it for AI search?
Yeah, right now you're having to cobble it together, right? Which is like this stuff is there and that stuff is there, and I don't even know what to do with it. It's because these are all living in their own, sandboxes. So what we had to do is bring AI into our sandbox. So when you're using LiveSwitch as an example, and you're taking a live video or recorded video, it's first going into your LiveSwitch, and then we have AI living there. So all you have to do now is tap one button and have it run whatever you were hoping for from it, whether it's your inventory report, whether it's, analyzing my staff for their interaction with sales, whether it's documenting that process. So we had to bring AI into the system rather than try to like go find it and just be another place. Like this is why we're one of the first in the world that has this live video and AI connected, where you can do things like have it diagnose your HVA system, but in the moving world, have it give your inventory report. So that's what's pretty exciting about this, is that now you have all this data. And we've had customers, like we've been working with customers like yourself, Wade, for 3 years. You got 3 years worth of data. Now we can run AI on that where we need to, right? And so it'll only improve from here, right? But these are just, we're crawling, we're walking. It's the adoption curve, right? You're just a little more ahead of that adoption curve. You're going and you're finding all best of breed stuff and you're bringing it together. But for kind of the average moving company with a handful of staff that might be using something like LiveSwitch, now this is their first chance to really use AI in a practical, tactical, one-click mode without having to go and figure out all kinds of stuff. And for anyone listening where you're like, man, I haven't even started on AI, like Wade, James, like good for you guys, but I have avoided it. What I recommend is, when I was running my painting company, paint sprayers were just coming out. We used to hand roll and brush everything, and paint sprayers were coming out. I was like, oh, so I went and bought one. And you know what we did? We played with it. And the first 5 houses we painted, it was a disaster. I mean, we were spraying the roof. We were over spraying. We weren't using shields. It was terrible. But by the 6th, 7th house, we were getting it down. And now we were painting houses, and half the time the quality was better than what we were doing, and we implemented it into our process, and we love that thing, and it's never going anywhere, and they're still here to this day. So what I want to recommend to anyone listening who hasn't started an AI, go to a ChatGPT, go to a Gemini, go to a Grok, play with it. Just play with it for a little while. It doesn't even have to be about your business. It can be for personal things, like, Wade's girlfriend who's analyzing them, right? Just start playing with it, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to find practical, tactical things that you can start to put into your business. You'll start to trust it a bit more. And then now you're off to the races. But you got to start somewhere. And I always find the best way is to play with the tools first before we make it an SOP.
That's absolutely right. I mean, think about the first time you downloaded Instagram or Facebook or whatever. It was all this foreign stuff. And now, it's just like second nature. Oh, we got to post a story. We got to post a reel. We got to make a carousel post. We got to do all these different things. Live feed. Live streaming. I'm out here today. On a move. Whatever. And as you just mess with it, you set aside 15 minutes a day, and you just ask it questions. Oh, I wonder if it can do this. I wonder if it can do that. I summarize some emails, because I have a tendency to sometimes write out long drawn emails. I'm like, wait a minute, what's the true point of this? It's to get a point across or to get clarification on something. So I'll plug it into ChatGPT and say, hey, summarize this email where it's in my voice, it hits the key points, and it makes this, drives the key points home. I just did that today, right before the call, because I, wanted to get all my thoughts out and just kind of spewed it out. And, I fancy myself an okay writer, but, a lot of people don't think that they're good writers. It's a great way to become a great writer. And just put the key bullets down in there and make it right for you. Stephen Reed told me, I tell this story all the time, but when ChatGPT first came out, he was showing me a bunch of cool stuff. He had his whole systems, processes, all these cool things he was doing with it. And I said, man, how'd you learn how to do all this? This stuff's only been out for like a month. And this was at a moving time retreat a few years ago. And he said, I just asked AI. I just asked it, how do I use you? I was like, never heard it put more simply in my life. Just
It's
ask it if
brilliant.
you want to see.
It's so brilliant because even like in our system where you have to make prompts, go to ChatGPT, tell it what you got, say, hey, I want to make a prompt that analyzes my sales team and tells them how they're doing. Like, give me the prompt to ask. Then you just paste it in and hit save, and you never have to think about that again unless you want to enhance it later. But I think, Wade, to your point, Stephen was spot on. As you play with it, you ask it how to use itself, and then, man, forever, your business will forever change.
A couple years later, I took the entire list, the attendee list of the people at the Titan retreats, and I said, make me a map of everybody in the country with their public information and pinpoint them all over the map. And next thing you know, I'm like learning how to plug Python code into HTML, just following the recipe step by step, something that would have taken me months and a computer science degree probably to learn before. Like I'm using Python code. I never thought I would do that. It definitely wasn't what I was trained on, but it just made it so simple and easy for me to do. It gave me the step by step and the programs to plug it into and everything else. So yeah, super cool stuff with that. I just had another question. I'm trying to remember what it was. Oh yeah, another thing you can do is, like, if you're reading a book, I'm reading this book called Building a Story Brand 2.0. It's a book on marketing. You can prompt the AI to say something to the tune of, hey, summarize Building a Story Brand 2.0 and consider yourself a story brand expert. Now give me a marketing campaign based off of the principles in their formula to craft a video or to craft a direct mail campaign in this market. And like, if you tell it to be an expert in a certain very niche topic, you tend to get better responses from those types of prompts.
Absolutely. And tell it the problems you're having, right? Or tell how you want, I want to differentiate myself, right? We were on a virtual conference not too long ago, and the folks from Pink Zebra, they've got a mascot that comes out, gives candy to the kids. If there's kids there, they put music on site when we're there. They leave a gift card for dinner afterwards, dinner on us. Like these kind of things, you can just ask, like, hey, here's something I'm hearing. Here's my budget. Here's what I think I can do. Like, help me, enhance my overall customer experience and set me apart as a moving company in the industry and make it easy and cheap that I can implement right now with my team. And it might have stuff you never thought of, right? Maybe even just how we communicate with the customer. Like you start to do it like Chick-fil-A. You start using, the verbiage they're using, that kind of thing. And you're implementing these kind of things with your sales teams and your movers, like these are the kind of things that I think can just save you from all of that thought. And you can start implementing these things. And, oh, by the way, how can I train this and make a one-pager for me and help me to put something up? How do I incentivize my team to do it? You see, it just, to Wade's point, this stuff just builds on itself. And man, it's literally like I'm Iron Man and I've got Jarvis, and I can't be without my iron suit anymore.
Yeah. One thing I've been playing a lot with more lately too is the business chat GPT, where I can have different users in my company all collaborating and brainstorming on different things we're working on, whether it's a marketing strategy or a script or, just new ideas, new training processes, where we can all like collaborate together and train it on our company internally, privately in the meantime, so that we can have this unlimited data bank of new things. I know we're coming close to the time, but I wanted to touch on this piece of it too. You guys have some integrations with Smart Moving. I'm not sure. Do you have any with any other CRMs? And what are the integrations and what are some of the use cases for listeners that might use Smart Moving or one of the other CRMs that you guys have negotiated or worked out with them?
Yeah, we're under the hood of Chariot, House Call Pro, Movegistics, Smart Moving, HubSpot, Move It Pro, many others, right? Even Zapier if you need it, right? And what this will do is if I go into Smart Moving as an example, and you have a LiveSwitch, you're literally launching your live call right from there. The videos and links to everything go right back in the customer record and you never have to leave Smart Moving. The next wave that we're going to add is to take the output of the AI and put that into Smart Moving. So this stuff, you literally just hit connect, sign in, and you're off to the races. And in addition, if none of those are even there, maybe you're running your business off Google spreadsheets, which is fine. We also got to start somewhere. Eventually you'll probably get to a CRM. We made a LiveSwitch launcher in the Google Chrome browser that looks for phone numbers on any website. So you can be on your email, you can be on another website, you can be on a Google Chrome, and it'll put a little L next to any one of those phone numbers. You tap it, and you can instantly start a live call or request information from people, like a video, photos, or documents. And so we try to make it easy wherever you are, whatever tab you're on, to be able to connect with the customer as fast as you can or request stuff from your team as fast as you can.
I love that. And last question, and then we can wrap it up. I know that there was I guess you could call it a first mover advantage with another kind of AI video driven surveying tool. I won't mention the name of it, but how do you guys stand out? What's your competitive advantage or your unique selling points from, the legacy one that's been around for a while, or any other, video or photo tools that might exist now or in the future?
And those are great tools, by the way. Just start using something to advance your business, no matter you LiveSwitch or anyone else. For us, what we think and believe is simple, where I can train you in less than a minute or two so I can use it. So time the value. No apps. We don't do apps. That slows everyone down. Customer does not want to download an app. Customer doesn't want to learn a new thing. We want to make it so easy. The customer just taps a text and you're on. And then you're laser guiding them around. You're recording it. And not only can we do the inventory report from AI, but now we're analyzing your sales team. We're documenting your process. You've got AI built into live video that can do anything you can imagine. It will blow your mind. And so that, I think, alone, and we keep adding things. We're getting ready to add checklists. We just add GPS. So when your team's at a property, they can just say current locations, like, oh, there's my job. So they don't get any confusion. So they can get prepped, handing off that communication. So, and all this is dialed in for third-party assistance, remote selling. It's made, we've been in the moving industry for 3 years. We know our movers really well, and we tune up every touch point to you. So you're not taking something that could care less about movers, where you've had to finagle it to work for you. No, you'll be like, wow, this was really thought with us in mind. No, we're already in smart moving too, or Movegistics, or wherever your CRM is. I think these are the kinds of things that we're thinking about, and simplicity is always the guiding light for us. If we make it too complicated, all the stuff we talked about today gets thrown out the window, and you don't do it because it's too hard and you don't have time for it. So I think these pieces alone, and being the first one to bid, race to the face, get the money as fast as possible, I think that really helped to keep you. I want you thinking about us at your gas tank when you're filling up your big truck and putting over $100 of gas in there, and you could have saved a trip. I want you to think about LiveSwitch. There's no need to be driving out to every bid anymore. That's just not needed. And we didn't come out yesterday. This is 3 years of data, and companies are, like I said, one of the top Mayflower folks. They're at 44% virtual. They're trying to get to 90%. This is not going away. And customers are going to expect it. And what we hear from customers like, why isn't everybody doing this? This is so convenient. So become the Amazon Prime of moving industry and make things convenient for your team and for them. I think that's the thing that really separates us from the rest. Although the rest of the stuff is great.
For less than the cost of a tank of gas. And how many tanks of gas are your salespeople burning through, on a weekly basis, driving all across, depending on how big your metropolitan area is? Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. Frictionless is so important in this business. Every step a customer has to take extra is statistically going to decrease the chance that their money becomes your money at the end of the day. And you guys are streamlining it. You're making it faster. You're making it more efficient, and you're making it without that friction. Love it. Love the simplicity of it. James, this is awesome. I've got my wheels turning about all the things that we're not even using it for yet that now I'm going to start to use on my plane ride in a few minutes that I got to head out for. But tell the audience how they can get in touch with you or the team at LiveSwitch if they're not already on there, or if they are on there, maybe they want to learn more on how to optimize their profiles, how to optimize their experience to do a lot of the things that we talked about. What's the best way to get in touch with you?
2 ways to get me. One, go to LinkedIn and look up James Hatfield, like Hatfields and McCoy, and LiveSwitch, LiveSwitch, or go to liveswitch.com. Click on demo and tell us, hey, I was listening to the Wade's podcast. In fact, we'll even give you a discount code for listening today. Grow 10. All right. Grow 10. We'll get 10% off just for listening in. And, we're happy to take care of you as well. I want to ask you to do this. Even if I'd rather you do this than even call LiveSwitch. Here's what I want you to do. Don't be a dead end. All right. Be a relay racer, a dead end. Wade is not making millions of dollars from this podcast. He is doing this to help his industry, to help you advance, because he just cares. Like, not everyone's willing to put themselves out there. So even before you try to look me up, can you share about this podcast, please? Not even this episode, just anything, right? And share it with a friend, a colleague, put it on a social. Like, don't be a dead end, be a relay racer. Wade is busting his tail to try to help elevate the industry. And I think it's the least we can do, just to let other people know how to find this stuff and help other people. So there you go, Wade.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that plug. I really do appreciate it. But I learned selfishly just as much as hopefully the people who listen to this learn. I love talking to people like you who give me fresh ideas and get me fired up to go dominate my markets in my moving company. That's where I want to make my millions. So happy to help anybody in any way that I can as well. Well, James, this is awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the Grow Your Moving Company podcast. Can't wait to put some of these ideas to work. And I know my team always sometimes gets annoyed because I have so many ideas, but these are important ones and we're already using it. So it'll be an easy buy-in. And I mean, if it's good enough for Smart Moving and all the CRMs and the chief of police of New York, then I think it's probably good enough for pretty much anybody who's listened. So go check out LiveSwitch, reach out to James, and until next time, we'll see you later on the Grow Your Moving Company podcast. I want to give a huge thank you to the team over at Hire for helping me produce this podcast. Now, Hire is formerly known as Hey Lou, and it's run by moving company owners, and it's a VA placement agency that can do all kinds of things, from video and content editing, social media, administrative work, KPIs. Heck, at Two College Brothers, we even use them as moving consultants because they speak perfect English. Sometimes they're in different time zones. A lot of them are located in Central and South America or all over the world, and they work hard. So if you're looking to find your next A-plus rockstar talent team member, then go check out Hire at hireup.com, spelled HYREUP.com, and tell them I sent you. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Grow Your Moving Company podcast. If you'd like to learn more about any of the sponsors listed on this show, want to apply for the next Moving Titan retreat, or interested in owning or working for Two College Brothers franchise, drop me a line at wade@twocollegebrothers.com. Moving out. Have a great day.